Do you like drama, bloodshed, romance, history, mythology, other things? Then you're watching the right show. In this pilot episode, our daring documentary crew takes a plane from their studio in New York City all the way to ancient Mesopotamia, where the Sumerian king Gilgamesh has agreed to let us shadow him for 6 months and report all the juicy details back to you, the viewer. We go now to Uruk, where our crew is receiving a VIP tour of his palace. All this and more on the hopefully soon-to-be-a-hit documentary series, My Life with Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh? Gilgamesh? Gilgamesh!
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, we were kinda under the impression that when you invited us to do a video tour of your palace, we'd get to see more than you brushing your teeth, or at least get to talk to you.
Oh, yeah, sorry, but I don't interrupt my morning routine for anyone. Do you think these rugged, good looks and flowing, barley-like locks come naturally?
Well, no, but...
They do, actually, but that doesn't mean I don't need alone time to perfect them. Here, listen to this poem that one of my scribes wrote for me. It's a banger.
He who saw the deep, the country's foundation, who knew was wise in all matters, Gilgamesh, who saw the deep, the country's foundations.
That's enough of that sycophantic bullcrap. I'm skipping to the good part of it, where he talks about how awesome I am.
He has no equal when his weapons are brandished. His companions are kept on their feet by his contests. The young men of Uruk he harries without warrant. Gilgamesh lets no son go free to his father. By day and by night, his tyranny grows harsher.
That's enough. I am pretty badass though, right?
It kinda seems like whoever wrote this doesn't like you. I mean, they called you a tyrant and everything.
Oh, that part. Yeah, apparently the people are upset that I insist on beating up all the men and sleeping with all the women. Maybe they don't understand that that's what kings are supposed to do. Okay? But oh well. Either way, what are a few angry words going to do to me?
Gilgamesh's behavior is completely out of line, and there was no end in sight. That's why I, along with other like-minded citizens, decided to form the Anti-Gilgamesh League. Gilgamesh needs to understand how his actions make us feel. So a few days ago, we protested outside his palace day in and day out. The Anti-Gilgamesh League? Oh, you mean the protesters. At first, I thought it was funny that they thought they would achieve anything, so I let them stay. When it got old, I did what any reasonable and compassionate monarch would do, and had my soldiers kill half of them and chase the others off of my property. After the negotiations fell through, we decided to escalate our case to a higher power. We went in droves to the Aeana and appealed to the goddess Ishtar for aid. We must have been very persuasive, because it was pretty soon afterwards that Enkidu appeared. Why did I help them? Do you have any idea how bad it was for my image that my temples are flooded with angry serfs? I'm the goddess of love and desire. My temples are supposed to be filled with passionate lovers and people in lurid affairs. There's nothing sexy or romantic about dirty, dissatisfied peasants. I'd have done anything to get them out. Hey, welcome to the show. Can you tell me your name and what you're here to talk about today?
Hello, I'm Anu, and I'm here to tell you about how I reacted to the complaints levied against Gilgamesh by the people of Uruk.
Yeah, nice to meet you, man. Listen, I don't know what to tell you, but we don't just interview anyone, and you're not on the docket for today.
What are you talking about? I was specifically invited. Look, you sent me this script. My interview is right here.
What? No. There's no script. Documentaries aren't scripted, silly. This is actually Mesopotamia, and we're actually interviewing the totally real people from the totally real story of Gilgamesh's totally real life.
Shut up and answer my question.
Yeah, let me see that script outline for a second. Yeah, this outline is actually an old version. We had to cut your part for time a few weeks back. One of the interns was supposed to send you an email, but they are interns. Sorry, man. Things change.
Young man, I'll have you know I am not to be trifled with. I am a very powerful god, and I will...
Wait,
smite you
why are we
so
filming
hard
this?
you'll think the
Cut.
sky- The gods had decided to do something about Gilgamesh, but they had yet to decide what exactly they would do. We were going to interview one of them, but the network informed us that our documentary has to feature recognized scholars in the field, or PBS won't air it, and we'll lose lots of money. I wasn't supposed to say that part. Edit that out. Anyway, we're going to be calling in an expert, a professor of archaeology who attended the University of Chicago, to explain the next part of the story. Stay tuned.
So then I said, that belongs in a museum. Cracked my whip and they all ran away. But anyways, back to Gilgamesh. The gods decided that they had to fight fire with fire, and tasked Uruk, one of their own, with creating a warrior powerful enough to put Gilgamesh in his place. I've always wanted to know how she did it. There's so many myths about how people were created, and figuring that out would be the find of a lifetime. Even for me. I kind of just grabbed a handful of clay, tossed it on the ground, and bam! There's this huge, absolutely shredded guy standing there. I called him Enkidu, so that's his name. It's not that complicated. What's wrong? Why are you running?
There's a man, mightiest in the land. His strength he possesses, his strength is as mighty as a rock from the sky. Over the hills he roams all day. Always with the herd he grazes on grasses. Always his tracks are found in the waterhole. I am afraid and dare not approach him. He fills in the pits that I myself dig. He pulls up the snares that I lay. He sets free from my grasp all the beasts of the field. He stops me from doing the work of the wild. I fled from him to tell my father of this man and ask his advice.
And tell us, what did your father say?
He told me to run to Uruk and tell King Gilgamesh that there was a man came by the waterfall, mightiest in the land. Strength he possesses, his strength as mighty as the rock from the sky. Over the hills he roams all day. Always with the herd he grazes on grasses. Always his tracks are found by the waterhole. I'm afraid and dare not approach him. He fills in the pits that I myself dig. He pulls up the snares that I lay. He sets free from my grasp all the beasts of the wild. He stops me from doing the work of the wild.
Why did you just repeat your entire story?
Pardon?
I said, why did you just repeat your entire story?
The same reason that you just repeated your question. I was afraid you hadn't quite taken it in. I'm sorry if I bothered you. I won't do it again.
It's fun. So you're running to Uruk now?
Yes. To tell King Gilgamesh of something.
To tell him of something? Of what?
I'm not saying it, sir. Because you took offense the last time I told you. I'm not falling for that one again.
Look, I was only frustrated because what you repeated was so long and so unnecessary. I'm not going to get upset if you tell me what you're going to tell Gilgamesh.
I don't believe you.
I promise you that I won't be mad. Pinky promise.
All right, then. I'm running to Uruk to tell King Gilgamesh that there was a man come by the waterhole, mightiest in the land. Strength he possesses. His strength is as mighty as a rock from the sky. Over the hills he roams all day. Always with the herd he grazes on grasses. Always his tracks are found by the waterhole. I'm afraid and dare not approach him. He fills in the pits that I myself dig. He pulls up the snares that I lay. He sets free from my grasp all the beasts of the field. He stops me from doing the work of the wild. We followed the hunter to Uruk. I made the directorial decision not to interview him during this period, so that I would never need to interact with him again. Let's go down to his meeting with Gilgamesh and see what's going down. Go, hunter. Take with you Shamhat the harlot. When the herd approaches the waterhole, she should strip off her raiment to reveal her charms. He will see her and will approach her. His herd will spurn him, though he grew amongst it. I want it on the record that I'm not a prostitute. I did one bachelor party, and now everyone suddenly thinks I've slept with every man, woman, and divine being in Uruk. I literally do not know how it got around so fast. One day, I'm an honor student, and the next thing I know, I'm the king's go-to girl for screwing weirdos, and everyone is calling me Shamhat the harlot. We've been waiting by this waterhole for like 2 days. Can this guy show up already so I can do my thing and we can get this over with? Okay, so eventually the guy showed up. With a herd of gazelle, mind you. Unfortunately, he was built like a bear and hairy like one too, so I sort of started panicking just a little bit. There he is. Okay, Shamhat. Remember what the king said. Remember what the king said.
This is he, Shamhat. Cradle your bosom, bear your sex, let him take in your charms. Do not recoil, but take in his scent. When I woke up, he was kind of just staring at me. I tried telling him that we had to bang, but man, let me tell you, that is hard as hell when you're working against the language barrier. I used literally every sexy look and dirty hand gesture I could think of, but apparently, doomy eyes just don't translate. It took him 6 days and 7 nights to figure it out, at which point, frankly, neither of us were into it. We got like 2 minutes of half-hearted sex in before one of the gazelles kicked him really hard in the leg and rolled out with the rest of the herd. I wanted to kick him too by that point, so I get it. Still, it kind of killed the mood, and I'm pretty much given up on sleeping with him. If the king wants him fucked that badly, he can do it himself. I'm in Kidu, I guess. Names are new to me. Gazelles didn't really do that stuff. So Shamhat stormed off after her last interview, and now I have to fill in for her. So after she taught me Sumerian, which took a long time, Shamhat told me that I should come back to Uruk with her and meet Gilgamesh, the king. So, what did you think about that idea? You gotta understand, I did not have a positive first impression of this guy. I mean, come on. He's supposed to be the strongest, wisest, happiest person ever. Of course I hated him. At that moment, I decided that I really wanted to fight Gilgamesh and beat the shit out of him. And? Did you? No, not immediately. Shamhat didn't like my plan and told me this weird story about Gilgamesh and his mom and his freaky dreams. Yeah, the dream thing was pretty weird. So I kept having these dreams where something would fall out of the sky, like a rock, an axe, whatever. And I tried to lift it, but I couldn't. And each time, the only way I could ever find to move it was to be put it in a wedding dress and act like it was my wife. After that, I could pick it up. That's kind of weird, right? So anyway, I asked my mom about it, and she told me that the objects represented someone who I will be close friends with in the future, and that I ought to prepare for their arrival. Really? No. No, she actually told me that I should stop drinking before I go to bed, which I have to admit is good advice. I'm not going to follow it, but still. I don't totally believe that she didn't just make it up, but the idea that we're supposed to be friends was enough to keep me from fighting him. For a little bit. A little bit? Did something change your mind? Yeah, actually. While we were traveling to Uruk, we stopped at a shepherd's camp. Apparently, I stand out from the crowd because people started bringing me bread and beer. And so, hang on, you'll love this. A problem came up because I'd grown up among the gazelles and I had no idea how to eat bread. You skipped to the good part? I mean, I'd love to hear more about you eating bread on my own time, but we have a max runtime here and our audience is here for the fighting, not the food. Hey, hang on. This is my story and I'm telling it my way. If you're so worried about the runtime, just edit it out later. So anyway, back to the bread and beer. You wouldn't think it would be hard to eat bread, right? Think again. So that's the story of how I saved the shepherds and their sheep
from this pack of hungry wolves and 3 very angry lions. After that, I met this guy. I think he was a caterer or something who was traveling to attend a wedding in Uruk. He told me, his words not mine, that Gilgamesh will couple with the wife-to-be, he first of all, the bridegroom after. By divine consent it is so ordained, when their navel cord was cut, for him she was destined.
Oh, I get it. So the news enraged you, and then you went to Uruk and fought Gilgamesh.
Not quite. See, he was a very educated man, so his Sumerian went straight over my head. Whew. Don't judge me. I had literally been speaking it for like 3 days. I think I'm pretty good for the amount of time I've been speaking it, of course. I told him to dumb it down, but so he explained that Gilgamesh liked to sleep with women on their wedding nights.
Okay, but then you went to Uruk and fought Gilgamesh. It looks like we're just in time to record Enkidu's epic fight with Gilgamesh. This is going to be ratings gold. Sir, are you Gilgamesh? That's me. Then, sir, I'm afraid I'm here to fight you and beat the shit out of you. Oh, don't worry about it. Happens all the time. But can we make this quick? You have to understand, I'm a very busy man. 7 women are getting married tonight, and I have to sleep with all of them before their husbands have a chance. You understand. Oh my god, is it okay? I think it'll be okay, sir. I mean, Gilgamesh only landed on my leg. Not your leg, Brian. The camera. Is the camera okay? Oh, no, sir. The lens is ruined and the video card has been smashed to bits. Maybe we can salvage the sound. Sir, my leg is really starting to hurt. I think it's broken. Suck it up, Brian. I need you to narrate what's going on here. Yes, sir. Gilgamesh is back on his feet. Enkidu doesn't seem to be paying attention. Maybe he thinks he's won. Gilgamesh has now picked up a cask of beer and is approaching Enkidu with it. Oh, he hit him with it from behind. That must have hurt. Enkidu is reeling. Meanwhile, Gilgamesh seems to be looking for something else to hit him with. He's looking this way. Oh no. He's looking at me. Mr. Gilgamesh, please don't. I'm very fragile, and I would make a terrible weapon anyway. Ah! All right, I'm taking over. Gilgamesh has just grabbed my cameraman Brian and is now bashing Enkidu with him. Enkidu is getting a few hits in, but the fight is quickly becoming one-sided. Gilgamesh has got him on the ropes. He's got Enkidu in a hold. He's lifted him over his head and brought him down. Oh, right on top of Brian. And if he survives this, we'll definitely have to give him hazard pay. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this fight is over. Hang on now. Gilgamesh is helping Enkidu up. Would you look at that? They're hugging it out. From where I'm standing, it looks like they've worked through their issues and are now friends. Wait, did they just kiss? Tune in to next week's episode of My Life with Gilgamesh for answers to that question and more extremely educational, totally true documentary content. Hope to see you then. This series was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.